I'd like to welcome you to the October school board meeting, and I know everyone is super appreciative of being here with the great weather outside, so we will not shortchange anybody any time, but we will do this as rapidly as possible. Glad everyone's here tonight. We do have Mr. Luttrell and Mrs. Creek absent, so we have a little shorter board tonight than normal, but we will get the meeting started. Board, you had the agenda for the meeting. Any questions, comments, or additions? Dr. Rollins?
Mr. President, let's turn to page 2 in the agenda. I just have a minor correction to be made. If you read under the focus section there, item D, if you read across, let's let it read like this: an in-depth look at efforts to teach students task orientation. And then the second addition to item D, if you would add Hellstrom Middle School, students there will be a part of that presentation. So,
Okay.
Other than that, Mr. President, the agenda would stand as presented.
I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Cook, second by Mr. Hutchinson. Approve the agenda for tonight's board meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Board, you've also had the minutes from the previous meeting. Are there any changes, corrections, or notes to be added?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Ramos to accept the minutes of the previous meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the time for patron comments. We would gladly like to hear from you. Just come to the podium, state your name, comment, question, concern. Just understand we cannot take any action on it tonight, but we would enjoy your comments, questions, or concerns. Dr. Rollins?
Mr. President, let me invite Sarah Manos, our representative from the Don Tyson School of Innovation, who will lead us in our pledge. Sarah, welcome.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, we're very glad to have you here. You've got a lot of exciting things to tell us, I know, and we'll look forward to that report. So let me introduce you this way. Sarah's a senior at the Don Tyson School of Innovation. Her parents are Matt and Don Manos. She's a National Merit Summer finalist. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's an AP Scholar with distinction. She's a finalist for the First Tech Challenge Dean's List. I'd like to hear about that for sure. She's the East Interview Competition finalist. Like I said, you've got a lot of great things to talk with us about. She's a member of the School of Innovation chapter of the National Honor Society. She's a member of the First Tech Challenge Robotics team. She's an East Program student mentor, and she's a member of the SOI Senior Class Council. You've done it right, and we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
I know the board would like to hear anything you want to share with them, but maybe about a trip coming up in a few days.
Yeah, so I'm on the robotics team, as you mentioned, and so we've been invited to be in the Team USA for First Global. So we're representing the entire country in Dubai in about 10 days. So I'm really excited for that. But I mean, I've done a lot of things, but it couldn't have been possible without the Springdale School District. I've been in Springdale my whole life. I've been at Don Tyson for the last 5 years, and I'm just really thankful for the honor to be here today. So thank you all.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I had the pleasure of going to Don Tyson School of Innovation last week, and somehow I ended up in the group of all the presenters at the lunch, and I got to ask you individually and the rest of the fine students there why they chose Don Tyson School of Innovation, what was your studies, and I just got to tell you how I guess either proud or happy for you. I mean, just the level of confidence that you and the rest of your students displayed at the School of Innovation, presenting to all those in attendance, and there was quite a few people there. What a great job, you guys. Just the confidence and the poise and just the way you handle yourselves. I was just extremely blown away by that and just really appreciative of how you handle yourself. I just really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
What are your plans for after you graduate?
I'm going to go to college. I'm not sure where yet. I want to be an environmental engineer or a biological engineer. So,
Have you narrowed it down a little bit?
sort of, because some schools only offer one or the other, so it depends on where I go, really.
Okay.
Nervous or excited about Dubai, or both?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
going to be
how
fun.
long does it take to get to Dubai?
I think the flight's like 14 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Straight flight? Is it a straight flight, or do you guys?
Yeah, it's direct from Dallas. So we'll drive down to Dallas, then fly over.
Wow. It's a long time in Italy.
That's awesome.
It's going to be fun. Enjoy it.
Looking forward to it.
I know the team was invited by Congressman Womack and Senator Bozeman to be in Washington just a week or so ago. Tell us about that just a little bit.
Yes, so us that are going to Dubai, we were invited by Congressman Womack to go visit the Capitol and tour. So we did that about 2 weeks ago, and it was really great because we got the in-depth tour of the Capitol building because it was led by one of Senator Bozeman's aides, and we also toured the White House, went to a lot of museums. It was a really great opportunity. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what's the finals for the First Tech Challenge?
So First Tech Challenge is the robotics program that I compete in, and they do something called the Dean's List Award that's kind of for students that exemplify like all the great values that FIRST stands for. And so every state can have 2 finalists that they submit onto the championship, and I was one of the 2 finalists for Arkansas last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are your parents or any family members here with you tonight?
Got my grandma and my brother in the back over there.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you.
so proud.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Good job.
Board, just in the way of an announcement, our principals know that National Principals Month is here, and we're going to have a little celebration tomorrow. I hope we have celebrations across the district. Principals, if you're a principal, please stand and let us thank you for the great work that you do all the time. Beautiful, beautiful. This group is just phenomenal. Mr. Steckline, we're glad to have you here, the director of our Springdale Education Foundation. Would you come forward? And I know you have some special awards to make tonight.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Rollins, thank you for having me. There's a lot of things going on. The foundation we're entering into probably what is our busiest time of the year. Although if I look back over the last 10 months, I don't know how it gets a lot busier. First thing I want to remind everybody is that our Cornerstone event, and it's the foundation's equivalent to a Hall of Fame event, is on October 17th at the ACO. If you have an invitation, it's not too late to send back your response. Each year we recognize a patron, an alum, and a retired employee. And this year's slate of recipients is as strong as ever. Joe Donaldson from Sam's Furniture will be our patron recipient. Rick and Julie Robley will be our alumni recipients. And none other than Linda Childers Knapp will be our retiree. And she has confirmed with me that she will be here with bells on. And so I invite anyone that would, that wants to come out to help us celebrate the accomplishments of these people. Please do so. If you need invitations, I have plenty right here, but you can go onto our website. We're SPSEF, Springdale Public Schools Education Foundation.org, There's a tab at the top that says Cornerstone. Click on that, and you can get tickets right there. You can also purchase tickets at the door. We just want to have as many people there as we can to help celebrate the accomplishments that these people have done, have given to our community and to our schools. A lot of big things have happened under their watch. Next, we're really pleased. As you know, the Foundation awards classroom grants twice a year. Well, we have 2 grant cycles, one that opened October 1st and closes on December 1st. So any district employee that wishes to apply for a grant for some sort of project that, as long as it serves kids in the district, you can apply. We typically fund about 40% of what we get, and it's not because the other 60% aren't worthwhile. It's just that's about the amount of money we raise. And so we're currently in we've kicked off a campaign last week to try to engage as many of our patrons and employees as we can to help us support those efforts. Our hope is that one day we can fund everything that gets submitted. That's our goal. So we're real pleased about that. Their second grant cycle opens on March 1st and it closes on May 1st. The idea for both of those is to have money in teachers' hands over the break, so over the summer break, over the Christmas break, so they can acquire the materials they need so they can have their projects ready. What I have with me tonight is several grant recipients that were funded over the summer and this last grant cycle. And so I'm not sure how many of you guys are here, but if you're here, make your way this way, and I'll let you kind of talk about your grants. Alex Lalonde from HAR-BER, Jennifer Totten from Linda Childers Knapp and Jones Elementary, Sissy Lindley from Southwest, Justin Swope from Lee. Amber Jones is not here tonight. She's got a concert she's putting on. Roger Voss from Springdale High School, Danny Darrow from Helen Tyson, and Annette Mackey from T.G. Smith. So if you're here, if you'll take a few minutes just to kind of talk to the board about your grant. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're first in line.
Here I am. I'm Jennifer Taunton, and I am currently at Childers Knapp and at Jones providing enrichment. My grant, Eclectic Enrichment, is funded to provide hands-on enrichment for kindergarten and first graders as I push into their classroom as the GT facilitators.
I'm Sissy Lindley, principal at Southwest, and we were funded to get a disc golf course on our property, and we have a very active community using the basketball, the soccer, everything's going on all the time, and so we want to provide that other low-income physical activity opportunity for our community.
Where's that going to be on your campus?
So Coach Coons has it all mapped out. It's not going to be near the building, so it won't interfere with the other things that will be occurring over the next few years.
I'm just trying to figure out where you can put.
So we have lots of property. You know, we have the basketball courts and the
Yeah.
tennis courts. So she's just going to kind of weave it around, make it part of PE, and then
Yeah,
obviously
that'd be
kids,
cool.
people can use it throughout.
Evening. My name is Alex Lalonde. I teach geometry over at HAR-BER High School, and I was the recipient of this past cycle's STEAM grant. And our project was to purchase paper cutters for our geometry classes that operate, that are computer operated, in order to kind of encourage the integration of technology along with what we're doing in classroom. Because one of our big standards is that we not only do we teach constructions by doing by hand, but it also we're required to do integration with computer technology. But we're using these cutters to add a practical application. So not only are they drawing things on the computers, but they're actually creating objects, and they're able to create things that that they can use outside of the classroom and building skills that they can take not beyond our math class and math curriculum, but things that they can use because the technology and equipment is actually readily available as something they can purchase on their own outside of here. So we're giving them skills that they can use as they leave our classes.
I'm Annette Mackey. I'm from T.G. Smith Elementary. I teach 4th grade there. And I believe each of you have one of these little papers in front of you, maybe. And if you'll look, my funding was for flexible seating in the classroom. And in the pictures, you can actually see on the picture on the left, you can see a regular seat, and then you can see a student on what we call a wobble stool. The wobble stool is rounded on the bottom, so the child can stay seated and stay in one spot, kind of, but they can move around. And I was inspired by my friend Jamie Ramsey, and she's here tonight to support me. She teaches over at Monitor, and several years ago, she was an intern at our school. And we reconnected through social media because she has social media on Instagram called, I think it's Learners and Leaders, maybe? Okay, yes. And I reconnected with her, and I saw these great things going on in her classroom. I reached out to her, and I said, hey, I'm curious about flexible seating. I would love to see it in action. So she invited me to her classroom. I went over. I checked it all out, and I loved what I saw. But I did not have enough money in my pocket to go out and buy flexible seating. So I applied for the grant, and I received it. Actually, I received my grant right at the end of the summer. I was kind of that last push, I think, and I got my grant then. My students asked me today how much money I had left, and I said, no, it's how much money we have left. So I told them, here's what I've spent. Here's what I received, which was $1,500. And here's what I've spent, so let's do the math. And so I made them do the math problem. And they did a really good job, and they were pretty excited. They were trying to figure out what we could spend that last little bit of money on, so I told them that they could have some input on that. But so far, the stuff that I have received, the seating I have received, has been a tremendous success. When you have a student who is ADHD and they can stay in one spot and move at the same time, it is tremendous in the classroom. So I really appreciate the grant. It's been wonderful.
Hello, I'm Danny Darrow from Helen Tyson Middle School, and I've been the band director there. This is my 9th year, and we were awarded a grant to help expand technology in our band room to allow our students to get an opportunity to see some of the great performance halls of the world. They get to visit those virtually. Carnegie Hall right now has just opened a new program where we can actually connect with them. Our students can virtually visit, we can tour, we can watch rehearsals. Even some of their performers will interact, or some of the folks who perform professionally will interact with our students we have a huge screen TV now, a sound system where the kids can actually hear. So we can visit around the world, or we can bring people in to work with our students. If I'm working on a particular skill, say saxophone vibrato, and I have a teacher who maybe can't come to Springdale, Arkansas, who lives in Indianapolis, Indiana, we can arrange times for those teachers to come to our classroom, visit with our students. Our students can talk to them, they can talk. And it just gives the kids an opportunity to see music and the possibilities outside the four walls of our classroom. So I'm very excited about it.
Justin Swope, Lee Elementary, and I've shared with you at our board luncheons before about Club Day at Lee Elementary, and they were able to fund materials and resources, and we're going to have our first Club Day on Friday this year, and those are quarterly days where every student at our school gets to participate in 2 or 3 extracurricular clubs. What I really appreciated is he shared with you that about 60% of the applicants get grants. Well, I was one of the 40% that didn't, but they came up with a unique way to be able to fund some additional grants, and I think he's ready to share that unique way. So I just appreciate that they continue, even when they can't fund everything, they look for other ways to fund things, and so I'll let him share how they did that, but we appreciate it.
So what Justin's alluding to is we try anything we can think of is how we can raise funds. As you may or may not know, we just completed our second annual duck race. Our first one, we put 40 ducks in the creek down here at Shiloh Square, and we thought we were killing it. And this year we put 400 ducks in the creek. And we weren't even finished cleaning up that night, and my committee said, I think next year we can do 1,000. You know, it's a novel idea, but what it allowed us to do was crowdsource almost $10,000. And that's 7 classroom grants. So it was a lot of work, but it was I think a really genius way, and I won't take credit for it. There was a committee that put all that together, but it was a really neat way to raise funds. What Justin was talking to us is last summer we partnered with primarily with the Odd Soul. We have a sponsor for the night, and we crowdsourced funding for grants. We take 2 grants in that night, and at the end of the night, it's winner take all. And we've raised everywhere, and we typically raise between $800 and $1,000. at each of those grant-togethers. We call those are summer grant-togethers. We do those in May, June, July, and August. And it's just a way to attract a different donor that may or may not have kids in our district yet, but are interested in doing something. And so we've been really pleased with how we can engage our community in different ways, just so we can have the funds to better serve our teachers and our kids. So I'm really pleased to be able to tell you, it's 9 years ago when I first stepped up here, we had a thought. Without any really, we didn't have any accomplishments. And Dr. Holland's can attest to this. It's been a work in progress. But at our event next Thursday night at the Cornerstone, we will announce to our public that by the end of the calendar year, we should hit the $1 million mark of money given back to the district. We've awarded a little over $500,000 in scholarships to this point, and we're going to top the $500,000 mark in grants by the end of the calendar year. So, so it's a little. I keep going back and re-adding the numbers to make sure I haven't made a mistake, because I really didn't think we had that kind of potential when we first started to be there this soon. So, I keep looking down the road at what Fayetteville does and what Bentonville does, and we're going to do it better. That's all there is to it. So, questions, anybody? All right, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Chris. Great work. Okay, board, I believe we're on the focus session. Dr. Freeman, if you will, if you'd come forward. Board, if you'll recall, we are kind of picking up and extending Don Wettrick's work. We're keeping the focus on innovation. A little different perspective, a little different author, and our principals, students, we're really looking forward to your comments this evening.
Okay, thank you for allowing us to present to you tonight. You have some note cards in front of you, so if you have any questions at all, please jot your questions down and we will pick them up at the end of our presentation. If you look at, this is our staircase to educational excellence, and this year we will really be working on ways that we apply our learning to be application ready. So last time you learned about the 6 building blocks, and it was kicked off by teams before us about collaborative. This time we're going to be spending our time on task-oriented. And these are building blocks that help children to become innovative. It's important to note with task orientation, children come at it from different directions. First, they have to learn out who they are as learners and what their interests are and how they learn. And then as they learn to carry out projects, they learn how they learn and how they process through things so that they can complete their task. So right now you'll see different ways that schools are showing tasks that students have done, but the kids will be talking about how they completed their task. Everyone had a little bit different of a twist. Okay, first off is Knapp Elementary School with Mrs. Cindy Covington.
Thank you so much. Ladies, if you want to go up to the small podium. Dr. Rollins and School Board, we are so excited to be with you tonight and to share with you about what task orientation looks like at Childers Knapp Elementary. So instead of hearing from me, I thought you would want to hear from the experts. So joining us tonight, we have Miss Sierra Tyson, we have Miss Romiana Jorkin, and we have Miss Michelle Ortiz. And these 3 ladies are 5th graders at our school. The big question with task or task orientation is, how do you move from a great idea, which lots of people have great ideas and nothing ever comes from them. So how do you move from a great idea to actual action or an actual product? So, ladies, tell us about task orientation.
We work together to solve problems in our community and learn about technology. One project we have worked on is Playground Access for All. We noticed that some of the students in our school in wheelchairs or that have low mobility struggle to access our school playground. Our team wanted to help these students. After researching and speaking with our principal, the project expanded to include more playground equipment that is also more accessible for all students. We worked with the Springdale School District to figure out the regulations for a school playground. We also worked with Mr. Athey to get the ramp and the added-on pavement. One of the hardest parts of working on this project was not getting lost in our ideas. We really had to plan out every step. We worked together with Ms. Russell to stay on target. One of the ways we did this was by writing down each step on a Post-it note and adding it to the Ease project board, like the one on the screen. This way, if we figured out we needed to change a step or the order, it would be an easy way to edit them. Every day, we would start with a check-in. We would look at what steps we were able to complete and what we still needed to get done. This process helped us stay on track and helped us make our idea a reality. This year, we plan to continue to use task orientation to help us continue our project to get more inclusive playground equipment like a sensory music station and a communication board.
Hi, my name is Michelle Ortiz. My GT class just started preparing for the YES competition. YES is a youth entrepreneurship showcase and starts as a business plan competition. The first task we had was to decide who we wanted to work with. I am currently working with 3 boys from my GT class named Kevin, Royal, and Ismael. The next task we had to do was come up with a product. We went through several ideas before we agreed to make clay animal sculptures. We thought the clay animals would be very interesting to make, and if our business plan is one of the top 25 in the state, we will get to sell the clay animal sculptures in Hot Springs. We took a break from our next task, writing our business plan, to create these prototypes for you. Tomorrow, we will continue working on our business plan using the guide from the competition. There are many questions we still have to answer before we are finished, like how much to charge for a product, a cool company name, and what to do with our profits. If our business plan is selected as one of the top 25 in the state, our to-do list gets longer. We will need to create an advertising plan, produce a lot of clay animal sculptures, and decide how we wanted to work to create our booth. We will have to be very task committed to get everything done.
Thank you, ladies. I'm very proud of you, and we hope that you have learned about some of the ways that we use task orientation in our project at Children's Nap. And now we would like to turn the program
Will y'all keep us informed on if we can come by these?
We will. And those are your gift from the kiddos.
Good, I got 2.
Those are their prototypes.
You're the president, you get 2.
And I'm really proud of
Too bad. I'm gonna be present.
Must be present to get.
So I don't know if y'all stayed for the rest of the presentation. Are your parents here with you tonight?
Yes.
So let's applaud their
They
parents.
did great.
You want to stand up?
I felt like I was watching Shark Tank. Like, the way that they speak is unbelievable.
You guys are in 5th grade?
Yes.
Wow.
And hats off to their teachers who are here tonight,
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Totten and Abby Russell. They're wonderful preparing them for this.
How long did it take y'all to memorize all that? A week? I used to could do that. Not anymore.
6 months of training.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Really good job.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Dr. Rollins. We're going to continue that theme of gratitude because we cannot do what we do at school with and for our kids without your support. So we appreciate the opportunity to share this evening. And when you look at task orientation, that's big. When you break it down and you look at the word task, that's small. But you take those small steps to get big results. And so instead of hearing from me, we brought a team from Harp Elementary School. We have Zuri Hernandez. Here's one of our Harp Hawks, Emma Claire Gregory, and I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Kissinger and Mrs. Purdue, 2 of our 4th grade teachers.
Okay, at our school we celebrate Johnny Appleseed Day, and Johnny Appleseed's birthday was a great opportunity for us to celebrate, learn, and collaborate with our partnerships across our community. After introducing this wonderful part of our 4th grade economics unit, the students quickly got to work brainstorming products for our apple market. The students worked with the group and were assigned the task of deciding which products they would make based on their individual strengths and weaknesses. Once each member of the group agreed, students got to work and became productive producers. They also determined the price of each product based on our supply and the cost to manufacture. Some other positive aspects that came out of the different activities were critical thinking skills, fine motor skills, and people skills. We also collaborated with our community and partnerships by involving our food corp representative, Ms. Kendall. She was able to make applesauce with each fourth grade classroom. In addition, Johnny Appleseed and his grandfather visited and brought each fourth and second grade student an apple. Zuri, one of our fourth grade students, is now going to share how he involved his family in our learning.
I was excited about Johnny Appleseed Day because I could teach other kids about Johnny Appleseed. My brother's an artist and he helped me trace out the apples on my shirt, the apples and the tree on my shirt. We also wanted to make my own necklaces to sell at the apple market. My dad and I went to Walmart and bought the supplies. I traced the apples my mom drew. My dad thought it would be a good idea to make the yarn for the necklaces adjustable. I sold everything I made. I brought more for you.
One of the things that's really important to Ashley and I is making sure that our kids are learning in our classrooms, but they're also filled with really happy times and opportunities to be a kid. And we just want to help create fond memories of school for our students. And so Emma Claire is going to share some of her and her classmates' written reflections of this special day. And I'm going to click through some pictures of some things that went on while she's reading.
I wrote, "This year on Johnny Appleseed Day, I made a second grade friend. The girl's name was Sloan. She wore blue glasses and a matching soft light jacket. I went to the classroom and my teacher read a passed down story about Johnny Appleseed to the second and fourth graders." Lauren wrote, "We went around the room to read the Johnny Appleseed books that our class had made, and the best part was telling Rebecca she could keep it. Her eyes lit up and sparkled along with her glowing face and smile." Danny wrote, "We set up our store. There were some funny parts too, like when we asked a girl if she wanted to buy a backpack pull, and she was like, 'Nope.' I laughed out loud. At the end of the day, I told my mom everything." Novi wrote, "It was so much like a store because we even got to have price labels. All the second graders were wandering around our shop, and it made me excited." Haley wrote, "I met Johnny Appleseed and got his autograph and even an apple from him. I loved Johnny Appleseed Day. It was the best." Now we will hear from our friends from George Elementary School.
Holy cow.
I wanted you to see the back of it too. This is just gorgeous, but that's some serious family involvement.
Can we have your students and parents here?
Are their parents?
Are their parents here?
Good evening, school board. Today I have Janelle Atalano, Benjamin Lamphere, and Samantha Reed. They're going to share with you their journey in becoming and learning about student agency. We've been working on design thinking and really looking at who they are as learners and what their interests are so that later they can launch passion projects in the areas of their interest. So I see in their future, I can already see engineering or computer design in their future. So right now, they're going to tell about a few tasks that they did and the process they went through as they learned how to manage themselves and their time.
Hello, my name is Janelle Talano. My task was to learn how to apply it to the U of A Adobe Photoshop training so I could teach others. I had to write what I wanted to say and then practice it over and over in my head so I could say it right in my application video. Here is my completed task.
Hello, my name is Janelle Tolano, and I am doing a video to see if I can get in for photoshopping. I would like to do photoshopping because it's like photography. So whenever you do photography and you want to make your picture better, you can add special effects, or you can add, make it better. So like if you wanted to do beach background, you could do all sorts of things with it. I think I would be good for this because I like to teach other people and I like the lead role of it. So I think I'd be good because I could help other people learn about it. And that's why I think I should be good for the training.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Lamphere. I'm learning how to complete tasks using Adobe Photoshop. I had to learn how to put a person in a different background. I got stuck. So to complete this task, I had to make a plan to teach myself. I reread my notes and then went back to Photoshop and figured out how to do it. I am one step closer to creating our East t-shirts.
Hello, my name is Samantha Reed, and I like to design things. When I am working on a project, I sketch them out on a small piece of paper. Right now, I am working on how to build a paper mache dragon that will sit on its haunches. To finish this task, I have to make models of what each part will look like and put them together. If my models don't work, I have to learn from my mistakes. Here are pictures of my progress so far.
Their parents are here as well. Thank you, parents, for guiding them and helping them. And next up, we have Hellstern Middle School.
So I brought tonight Mrs. Steffi Teo. She's our GT teacher at Hellstern. She piloted and designed and created a very unique program in GT last year in a way to schedule our students, and then we're bringing that to scale this year. We have a newly remodeled advisory time, which we're calling our Hero Hour, and our goal is to do what she has done across our building with all of our kids. But I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about that.
Hi, everyone. So in our GD program, we create task-oriented classes, and we give students lots of choices. So typically, on average, we give students about 40 class options to pick from, and they get about 2 per semester. So of those 40, once students have selected what they want and we build our personalized schedules, we usually end up teaching between 20 and 30 classes. So I'm just going to talk through our basic framework for each class that we run and give you a couple of examples of classes that have been successful in the past. So these are the general steps that we take. We have an end goal in mind, but we intentionally leave it very vague. And then we have kids learn the skills and concepts that they need. They brainstorm ideas. They create a plan of action and timeline. And this doesn't always follow in order. It just kind of depends on the project and the class that they're in and what their end goal is. So I have some pictures for you. This is pictures of my competitive edge class. This is a strategy board game class, and the end goal is for them to design and create their own board games. So we go through a process of learning. So I expose them to different types of board games that exist. They play, they learn the rules, they learn about different parts of it, and then I also have, oh, sorry, I went a little too fast. And I also have a project service learning class called Live, Learn, Serve. And that one is focused on contributing to their community. And so the first thing they do is they brainstorm problems that they see in their community and what are some things that they feel really compelled to help solve. We also bring in experts. So on the left side, you'll see someone from NWA 3D. We purchased 3D printers for these students who are creating board games to create pawns and pieces for their board games. And he came in and gave the kids a crash course in how to use this 3D printer and use it to create their pieces. And then on the right side is a counselor. who came in and talked to my students because they were very, very concerned about the mental health of middle school students. Students who are really struggling with peer pressure and anxiety because of testing, or just how to function as the middle schooler going through all the changes that are happening in life at that point. So we try to bring in experts to help them figure out ways to solve their problems or create their projects. Then they execute their plan, and they troubleshoot along the way. And so this is my favorite part of the process, because they'll have these grand ideas, and then they'll come across all these roadblocks, and they have to work their way, figure out how to get through it or get around it or reach out to experts and problem solve. And finally, they'll present to the target audience. So again, on the left side are the kids who have created games of their own. And we last year had a parent night, basically, where they got to showcase all the work that they did. And so these are some of my kiddos who created their games, and they were showing it to parents and classmates. And then on the right side are the kids who were really concerned about mental health, and so they did lots of research, and then they put together a presentation to share with their friends on how to handle or how to navigate the stress of being a middle schooler. And they have very specific strategies for their classmates to use when they encounter certain issues. So if they're really stressed out about something, using breathing techniques or yoga, or how to reach out to counselors and things like that. And so this is the basic framework of our GT program. And like I said, we run 20 to 30 classes, all task-oriented and focused on a very specific, an end goal that's specific but general enough for the kids to kind of have their own creativity.
And next we have Archer.
We too are being task-oriented at Archer, and I have brought with me tonight a biology and chemistry teacher, Miss Erin Delau, and she's brought a couple students from her class, and they'll talk about some project and problem-based learning activities that they're doing and showing ways of incorporating these innovative ideas.
Hello. I've brought with me a couple of my chemistry students. I've been developing some problem-based tasks and some project-based tasks for them to do in the classroom that cover, just general science ideas and then specifically chemistry ideas. The problem-based one task that Stephen's going to talk about was a Camp War Eagle counselor was going to come in and listen to some proposals that they created to increase interest for 7 through 10-year-olds when they designed a day camp program for Camp War Eagle. So you'll see some pictures about that. And then Celeste is going to talk to you about her project-based task that she did, where she created a science model about her hand. So, Stephen.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. In order to complete this project, we had several tasks in order to accomplish this. The way my team planned for the task was by figuring out how much time we had to accomplish each smaller task and divide it up. We were given several days to find information about our lesson and an activity for each day as well. We were given time to test some of our activities as our lab time as well. We selected our activities by using videos posted on Google Classroom provided by Ms. Delau, and we used them to find information as inspiration. We then searched the internet for activities we thought kids would enjoy the most. And I also had prior knowledge about some topics that I would want to explore more, such as the plasma experiment we tested. The way I stayed on task was by putting myself in a mindset of getting my work done first and not procrastinating. We also had time to try our experiment in several different ways. One activity, which is showing here, we tried microwaving grapes to release plasma from them.
Okay, it's done.
And plasma, which was shown there, is highly energized negative and positive ion particles, which behave violently with any substance it comes into contact with, commonly oxygen, and then ionizes and creates sort of gas, which is also a light show. We tried several different ways of what we thought were good results. And here is some other presentations and projects that were happening in my class. And here we're presenting our projects to the camp counselor who came to judge. And here's some more presentations. And our proposal went well, although I felt we were lacking something. I still don't know, but I have that feeling. We were asked questions about our project, of what we did and how it was planned. What I learned from this project was releasing plasma from grapes is way harder than I thought. But although experimenting with it was very intriguing. And now I will transfer to Celeste to talk about her project.
My task for the external model of a hand was to show the outside characteristics, including nail cuticles, veins, and so on. And I had to explain what each part of the hand did to protect it. My task for the internal model was to create a moving hand model that could close and open just using the supplies I was given, which includes yarn, cardstock, straws, and tape. Then I had to label the parts and relate the structure to the function. I planned my model by thinking about how my hand moves and using that information to turn it into a 3D paper plastic model. How my model works. So, since I was only given a couple supplies, I took my straws and I cut them into small parts so that it would have room for joints so that it would move. And the yarn acts as the muscle so that when you pull it, it closes, and when you let it go, it contracts. So, I stayed on task because I wanted to finish my work so that I could have a good hand model like this one. I learned that it's hard making a hand model. You really have to use your brain. And now I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Freeman.
Very well.
Today, you've learned about being task-oriented, and it's one of the building blocks that's necessary to help children go from an idea to task completion or to action. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, the hand, whose hand is this? You may want it back. Is it ours? Do you want your hand back? Okay, all right. There you go. We'll give it to Miss Cook. She said she knew that.
Thank you all.
Good job, everybody.
Parents, thank you.
I wouldn't have thought to cut it. That's awesome.
It's cool. See ya.
Okay.
Good job.
All right, board, we're on item E on the agenda, and this presentation really has two parts. Melody, if you'll come forward, Miss Melody Morgan will talk with us about our annual report to the public, and then Miss Bortz will follow that presentation with a follow-up on the report on our charter school. Mel, thank you very much.
Good evening, members of the board, and Dr. Rollins. So this is the opportunity that we get through compliance, but also through desire to be able to give a report to our public who may or may not be able to attend our board meetings through our broadcast efforts, through our televised board meetings. So this is a high-level overview in review of last year for our school district. I believe y'all received a copy of that in your packet. So I just want, at any point in time, if you have any questions, you just feel free to interrupt. As Dr. Rollins said, following this will be a presentation by our principal from the Don Tyson School of Innovation, which is Ms. Kelly Bortz as well. It's a two-part. The rules and regs require that all districts conduct a public meeting annually to discuss reflective progress and performance of our district. Additionally, the goals and opportunities are presented to inform the public of our efforts to personalize learning for all children through student-focused initiatives. There's an additional requirement for district conversion charters also to present that information as well, which is why Don Tyson School of Innovation will also be presenting. So our educational focus, as you can see, is one that is student-centered. Students are our collective why we choose to do what we do. With students at the center of our collective why, we work to ensure all stakeholders share a collective vision for our motivation and purpose and know the outcomes that indicate the achievement of why. To do this, our district works to ensure that all stakeholders are prepared and equipped with the knowledge, skills, and dispositions needed to help students be successful at the highest level. The foundation for our student success is built on 4 pillars. Safety, student achievement, personalization of learning, and partnerships are the basis for student success. They are like system roots in that they provide the foundation necessary to expand and grow and meet the needs of all children. I know you've already seen this tonight, but this is a little bit different spin on our ladder. Our teaching and learning vision places a focus on authentic literacy and authentic numeracy with a framework for advancing student achievement. The staircase model represents the foundation of the district and has been built and strengthened over the last 40 years. The curriculum and instruction team ensures that scaffolding and support for each landing is assessed through multiple lenses, such as elementary education, secondary education, English second language, special education, GT, career and technical education, accountability, partnerships, and community supports. As we work to develop a culture of authentic literacy, we have developed a research-based program known as Roots that mirrors the Arkansas Reading Initiative. This program encourages a culture of reading by coordinating a district reading campaign in conjunction with community partners, parents, and teachers to establish the importance of reading in homes, schools, and communities, with goals of sharpening the focus and strengthening instruction, facilitating community collaboration, and building a culture of reading. MathQuest is a state program being implemented to grow and strengthen authentic literacy. MathQuest is about meaningful mathematics learning experiences using reasoning and problem solving. Places a focus on the application of mathematics to increase student achievement. It's grounded in research-based strategies and practices and enriched with professional learning experiences. It is in support of the Every Student Succeeds Act and strengthens parent and family engagement. Our district curriculum includes digital curriculum accessible anytime, anywhere through our district website. It's aligned to state standards and assessment. It welcomes stakeholder feedback for continuous improvement. It includes writing rubrics developed to guide rigor, literacy embedded in core content, balanced numeracy to provide focus on problem solving and application, places an emphasis on science, on observation, analysis, and problem solving, as well as hands-on application. It includes lessons for deeper learning and engagement. Personalization of learning is supported through a variety of student-centered programs and partnerships. Some of our student-centered programs include the second largest in the state pre-K, special education, alternative learning, English language development, which is an acceleration of language development to support content area success and application of foundational language skills. Career and technical, gifted and talented STEAM. For parents who may not know, that stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Coordinated school health program, school-based health clinics, the largest family literacy program in the nation. EAST Initiatives, which stands for Environmental and Spatial Technology, Breakfast in the Classroom, Conscious Discipline, Restorative Justice, and programs to address the social and emotional needs of our students. Some of the many advanced student-centered programs include Advanced Placement, International Baccalaureate Program, Concurrent Credit, Gifted and Talented, where we have received both state and national recognition, our Schools of Innovation, the ability to have multiple pathways to graduation, competency-based learning, the opportunity to earn an associate degree before you leave high school, and our National Career Academies. Through partnerships, we are able to strengthen and deepen our personalization of student learning. Some of our partnerships include school and community partnerships with our business and industry partners, our post-secondary partners, partners in education, our Northwest Arkansas Council, our Chamber of Commerce, and our Education Foundation. We also have career and technical advisory partners, and again, our Schools of Innovation, which include schools all the way to the elementary in our district. Above all is our partnerships with our parents and family. In addition to parent-teacher organizations in our schools, we also offer family literacy programs. Our district, like we said, has the largest family literacy program in the nation, and it's in place in 18 of our schools. Here's a picture of a family literacy night at Harp Elementary. Parents and students learning together. I always put this one in for you. This is just a breakdown of enrollment by demographic as of September 29th. As of that date, we had a little over 22,000 students enrolled in K-12 and over 23,000 if you include pre-K. Our academic achievement component, this chart that you're seeing in front of you is a chart that illustrates the percentage of students that are proficient on ACT Aspire in grades 3 through 10 over the past 3 years. When we examine the performance category growth in each subject, we find that the percentage of students in grades 4 through 10, where they have a second data point, actually had advanced or grew by one or more performance levels from 18 to 19 by 18% in English. Reading had student growth in performance level by 23%, and math in 17 and science 21. So this growth pattern across all tested subjects establishes a continued growth trend in student achievement during the 4th year of administration of ACT Aspire. What that means is there's 4 performance categories, and that percentage of students advanced a whole category. Advanced placement is another great area of academic achievement for our district. It provides opportunities to participate in college-level courses in high school and earn college credits. Springdale administered over 2,100 AP exams last year. 143 students received the highest score of 5, 289 a 4, 410 a 3. 47% of the total exams taken received a score of 3 or better. This is an increase over last year by 2 percentage points.
The overall number of students taking is an increase, or the number of with a 3 or above is an increase?
The percentage that made a 3 or above. So it's not the overall number, but it's the percentage that scored a 3 or above. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
So this chart in front of you illustrates English learner performance over the past 2 years. I guess it's a melon color, maybe. We could call it a melon color. That is language proficiency performance in 2018, and green is language proficiency performance in 2019. Over 36% of the students in our district are language learners. Language acquisition is essential in growing student achievement. English learners demonstrated the greatest amount of individual language growth this past year, expanding on the success that we saw earlier at elementary grades and continuing through high school. This success can be contributed to continued personalization of learning and implementation of systematic English language development, as well as removing structures to facilitate more inclusion at the secondary level. It's something to celebrate. So in addition to student achievement and growth, graduation rate is also a measure of school performance used in our state accountability system known as ESSA. Arkansas uses what's known as a lagging grad rate, basically so they can include summer graduates over the summer. So your achievement data from your testing information will be from the past year, and your graduation rate data will be from the year before. In 2017, the Arkansas Department of Ed began reporting both 4-year and 5-year grad rates. Our accreditation status, Springdale School District and all 29 schools are fully accredited by the Arkansas Department of Education, as well as fully accredited by Advanced Ed, which is an independent external accreditation agency. As stated earlier, we have over 22,000 students. This is an increase roughly of 300 students in K-12 based on this time last year. So I'd like to close with a statement from Dr. Rollins. We appreciate the partnerships we have with our parents, patrons, and community members in developing our most valuable resource, our children. Thank you for your continued support as we educate and prepare our next generation to the absolute best of our ability. Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melody.
Hello. So I'm pleased to present Don Tyson School of Innovation's Charter School Report to the public to demonstrate progress, performance, and personalization of learning. Our mission is to inspire students to imagine their greatest dreams through innovative education, and we do that with our instructional model. We focus on accelerated learning so that students have the opportunity to pursue college and career opportunities. That includes associate's degrees and also industry certification. And so this graphic demonstrates the instructional model that's in place. This instructional focus aligns with our vision, accelerated advanced college and industry, and again, that accelerated model in place to promote college internships, apprenticeships with local industry, the associate's degree, and again, those industry certifications. And I think just highlighting how important partnerships are to our district and specifically to our school in creating opportunities for our students, the ones that are in place and the ones that we're working to open in fall of 2020. So curriculum and opportunities, I'm not going to go over these one by one, but I do want to highlight some that have been added for the 2019-20 school year. Computer science, we have added mobile app development this year. In engineering and robotics, we've added civil engineering. Medical professions, we have added pharmacy technician and phlebotomy, which is available to students, and they can receive certifications in those areas. We have also started our AV Tech and Film class, which supports our digital literacy pathway, which is so important to our school. And that program is foundational to the things that are coming in the future. So the AV Tech and Film program will also support our music composition, and sound and recording technology pathways, which will be coming in the future and starting those programs in fall of 2020 as well. And we've also really focused on something called ACT Work Keys. That is a national career readiness program, and students are, they work through the Work Keys curriculum, and we do that in our college and career readiness class in 11th grade. And students are able to earn certificates in applied math, graphic literacy, and workplace documents. And when we're out talking to community and business partners, they specifically reference the ACT Work Keys National Readiness Certificate. So it's recognized industry-wide. So we're pleased to be incorporating that into our college and career readiness classes as well at the 11th grade level. This slide just demonstrates some of our teaching and learning opportunities that personalize educational experience for students at Don Tyson School of Innovation. We have increased our AP courses this year. Our concurrent classes, we currently have 8 concurrent classes that we teach face-to-face at Don Tyson School of Innovation. And we also provide students online opportunities that if they're enrolling in a concurrent class, that they're able to do that online, and we have support built in through that student schedule. Again, our college and our career and industrial certifications, you can see those listed. That continues to grow with every program and CTE pathway that we add at Don Tyson School of Innovation. And then again, it's such a great opportunity for students to be able to earn college credit through NWAC and that partnership, being able to get their associate's degree of science or art, or even being able to just do the early college experience, which is 30 hours. So we have students who graduate with 3 hours of college credit all the way to their associate's degree. So that's just a way that we can personalize education for students. One of the things that is so, I think, important to our students is the Connick Foundation Scholarship. In the past, that scholarship has been about $20,000. This year, they increased it to $30,000. In the past, that scholarship has covered really all of the tuition for students who are taking NWAC classes, but the enrollment in our NWAC program has grown so much that the $30,000 scholarship fund doesn't completely cover the full tuition, but we are able to cover at least one class for all of our students. Northwest Technical Institute is another great partnership that we're pleased to offer through Don Tyson School Innovation. Again, we have our CNA program, our PCA program. We've added pharmacy assistance and phlebotomy this year, and then we continue to offer our diesel technology program as well. We also, this year, one of, I think, the great accomplishments for our school is the partnership that we have with Northwest Medical, and we have created an internship opportunities, internship opportunity for students who are enrolled in the CNA program. So with Northwest Medical, we've worked with Hans Dresnick and Derek Holmes, who is the nursing director there, and we currently have 20 students who are doing internships, and they are exposed to so many things, and they let them go into the heart cath lab, they're in the ER, just great experiences, and that number will continue to grow. In the spring, we will have about 20 there again, but in the fall of 2020, that internship opportunity will be open to Springdale High School students and HAR-BER High School students. So we're excited that we were able to start that internship this year. Our students are kind of working through the kinks, and so that will expand to our entire district in the fall of 2020. We continue to do Real World Wednesday. Every year we have over 150 business and community partners who come into our school and dedicate their time to giving our students information and hands-on experience with business and industry in our community. We do promote student agency, and a few of the programs that we have in place are personalized academic planning, the college and career readiness classes that I think make DTSOI very unique, that we provide that support for college and career readiness beginning in 8th grade. Through those courses, we have clubs, we do intramurals, we have an innovation wheel in 6th grade that exposes all of our 6th graders to all of our different programs and pathways so they can start thinking about what they want to do and get involved with. 7th grade innovation focus through electives. Our virtual program continues to grow. We have Digital Phoenix, which is a full-time student taking one or more online classes in addition to their full-time face-to-face schedule. We have blended students, and then we have full virtual. And I think that blended option is what makes our virtual program so unique, because any other virtual program, you're virtual or you're face-to-face. And this design allows students to really personalize their schedule depending on what they're involved in and their needs. This is just an overview of our academics. We have over 230 NWAC courses being taken. We have increased our AP classes. The number of students earning high school credit in 8th grade is 220. And then this just gives you an insight into some of our pathways and enrollment in those. And I will point out that AV Tech and Film, that this is our first year and we have 103 students involved in that. 112 students are taking an internship class. So we have interns at Northwest Medical, but we also have interns at Tyson and other businesses and industry in this area. So their schedule is very specific to their graduation requirements, but then they're allowed to leave to go do an internship or go to work. So that's a unique opportunity. Our medical program is probably one of our strongest programs. We have 178 students on that pathway or in that pathway right now. Our enrollment, we're over 1,200 students at this point. We are 42% free and reduced, 10% English language learners, and 4% students with disabilities. We'll look at our academic achievement. This graphic just gives you an overview, 6th through 12th grade, of students who scored ready or exceeding on Aspire. In spring of 2019, the blue is 6th, then it goes 7th, 8th is the yellow, green, 9th, red is 10th. And we will move on to look at grade specific. So this looks at 6th grade and 7th grade data comparison, and we're comparing Arkansas, the Northwest Arkansas region, and Don Tyson School of Innovation. So the blue is Arkansas, red is this region, Northwest Arkansas, and then the yellow is Don Tyson School of Innovation. So we are scoring above the state and region. This is 8th and 9th. And 10th. And 10th is scoring above the state and region as well. This is our 11th grade ACT composite score. We score above the state, and we're in line with the region's score on ACT. We have implemented some things in our college and career readiness classes to do ACT prep, so we're really focusing on that this year as well. Our commencement ceremony is scheduled for Saturday, May 16th at 4 p.m. At Springdale High School, Pat Walker Theater. At 4. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming one of the others have switched.
Yes. Yeah, I just know we're at 4.
We're gonna go 3 anyway.
Yeah. Okay, any questions?
As we move from STEM to STEAM, come back and paint that picture a little bit, make a connection to the arts, digital literacy, et cetera. Paint that picture.
So I will speak to digital literacy. I think that it's Don Tyson School of Innovation, and everything we do, digital literacy is embedded in that. I think that even speaking to how the AV Tech program is foundational to our music pathway because of music composition and some of the pathways that we're adding to fine arts. And I also just think integrating the arts in so much of what we do. I know that so many of our teachers are partnering together. So our geometry teacher currently is partnering with our art teacher. So I think that we're just continuing to look for ways to embed the arts into, you know, some of our core subjects, that it's just not art specific now. And digital literacy, I think that that's an umbrella for our school, and we continue just to look for ways and to increase that exposure to kids in all of our classes.
Partnerships with the U of A, with Crystal Bridges, with Walton Arts Center, with those Arts Center, those arts, touch on that as it emerges.
Yes, so I think that just continuing to have a focus on bringing the community in and us going out into the community and exposing our students to those programs and facilities that we have here. I know our 7th grade will be partnering with Crystal Bridges, and so we're working on that partnership and what it will look like right now. We continually reach out to the community, Walton Arts Center, just asking for input and helping guide the curriculum that we're using for these programs. So I think that connection is essential, you know, to us going forward.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Mr. President, the next 3 items, just really in the way of announcements. Thursday evening, we all understand the Arkansas School Boards Association will have their regional meeting in Gravette High School, and there's a map in front of you that is a route in terms of how to get there, but maybe one of the shorter. If you know that you want to ride with us, we'll be putting a caravan together here, leaving about 4:15. We think it's about an hour drive up there. The program starts with registration and so forth at 5:30, and then followed by a meal function and the program itself. You want to pick up on that and talk about anything going on?
Well, I mean, I was sent my instructions by email yesterday, and honestly, I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. So I guess I'm kind of the MC in a way, since I'm the regional vice president or regional board member. So it should be a good session. I mean, it's a good time to meet and greet with all the local boards, and I'm not exactly sure what the subject is because I haven't looked at that yet either. So
there is a summary page in tonight's agenda. The county
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, Thursday night. For the
I got
county
today and
give you
tomorrow.
some-
I'll have it done by then. I don't want to do it too early. I might forget it.
You know, obviously.
So Dr. Rollins asked me today, he said, now what would you like to get out of the meeting? And I said, well, my desire would be to have relevant and meaningful content.
Hopefully there'll be some of that.
There we go.
I can't guarantee it all will be that, but some of that will be there.
Well, we'll go and be learners and enjoy the opportunity, that's for sure. If you look at item G, the annual conference of the Arkansas School Board Association, then will be held at the regular time in Little Rock. This calendar date is December 11 through 13. So we've got some time to plan for that and so forth. Who knows? We might be presenters by then. We don't know for sure, but we're always available if they would give us an opportunity. So we'll keep you updated on that.
And we need to appoint a delegate.
We do need a delegate.
We're appointing Nick.
See,
I think Mr. Emerson just volunteered to be the delegate.
I was the delegate last.
Good job, Nick.
I think
Way to
that's-
go.
And that's not fake news either. That's real news.
I'm not sure how to feel about that. Honored or? No, that's fine.
I think you accepted the job, Michelle, don't you?
Sure. Sign me up.
And I'll be your backup.
Overtime pay for the delegate,
Be
right?
next year.
November is a work session day for us. If you take a look at a very preliminary agenda, we can certainly adjust the meetings and content any way you'd like to. But we'll start at 11:30 and plan to complete our session by 4:30. And if you'll notice, and Kevin picked up on this very quickly, I tried to create an opportunity on the agenda for each of you to be in front of the group, talk about things that you're thoughtful about, that you reflected about, things you'd really like to see us address if we've not gotten there yet, and obviously growth areas of any type. So y'all take a look at the proposed agenda, and we'll work on finalizing that over the next weeks.
So in all reality, it's each of you are gonna bring 10 minutes worth of, what were the two words they used? Relevant and meaningful questions and information. And I'm being serious.
There you go.
I really want you to,
I'm making my
I really want you to take some time and think about that, because it is a great opportunity for the 7 of us to have some conversation with the staff here and the administrative leadership team to.
And y'all are very well aware of this. If you look back just a few years, it's opportunities just like that that led us back to the big audacious goals, et cetera, which has been a driving impetus for our district now for a number of years.
So, I mean,
again,
really, a little tongue in cheek, but it's a great opportunity, so I
Oh,
really
yes,
want you to
sir.
take some time to think about that.
Any questions, Mr. President, about anything? Thank you, Board. You want to stretch a moment, or shall we continue?
Keep it rolling.
We good? Okay. Dr. Smith?
Good evening. Curriculum instruction, and we're pulling up a PowerPoint right now, but from the realm of curriculum instruction, innovation, and ETC, we have 4 items on the secondary part and 1 item on the elementary part. But before that, I just wanted to kind of reflect on where we've been this year. As you know, our focus has been on Start With Why, and we've been leading that conversation in every meeting we've had. As you also know, we talk about the staircase to educational excellence and our application of learning. I know that we have a very large district, and I know there is something every night, if not tenfold. One of the things I wanted to do a quick highlight before I turn it over to Ms. Tischer is, I know you follow us on social media, but I wanted to just highlight just a few things. If you'll notice the first one, we talk about application of learning. Here are some things happening at John Tyson Elementary with their 5th grade class and their application of learning with the science standards. If you'll notice the second one, we had our Marshallese patron shelf. I think we had about 75 people. That's parents, community members, students all coming together to figure out how do we better our students. It was a great event held upstairs last week. If you'll notice the third picture, it is a young man that's at the Don Tyson School of Innovation, but what I wanted to highlight is that Springdale has a club. It is called the Trailblazers Club, and it's open to any 6th through 12th grade student in the district. It is run by Ms. Underdown and her husband, and then we have some support as well with teachers. Some amazing things happening. Some other quick things, I know a lot of you may have heard last week we had Springdale High School Band come and perform, but they also performed for the pre-K. So when we talk about application of learning, it's a wonderful thing to see our pre-K students really getting a love for music very early on. We have a new choir director at HAR-BER High School. They have a great event last week as they were performing in their choir performance. Chris Steckline, he also discussed just a few minutes ago, but this was a great kickoff. The upstairs conference room was packed with educators, and I know this will have a great impact on how we can support teachers in their classrooms that will eventually support our students. And then the last 3 pictures, we talk about application of learning, but you know, the Don Tyson School of Innovation Phase 2, the beam signing was amazing. Ms. Sports and her team, all I can do is say they put on an exceptional day for us, and just knowing that we're going into phase 2, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So the beam signing. The middle picture is Shaw Elementary. I know it looks like it's at the New York Stock Exchange, but this again is application of learning. They've actually got a green screen behind them, and they're talking about the stock market game. And then the final picture, monitor, the gifted and talented teacher, Miss Jennifer Malugian. She does amazing work, but this is students figuring out a need in the community, finding a way to raise the money, going out and purchasing books, and then delivering them to Arkansas Children's Northwest. I don't think application of learning can be any more powerful than that. So I just wanted to share those things. I know there's a lot of stuff happening in our district, and I wanted to highlight those. So at this time, I'm going to have Ms. Titcher come forward with her 3 items, and then it will be followed by Ms. Childress.
Good evening, Dr. Rollins and board. It is my pleasure to recognize 4 very special students for the first item on my section of the agenda this evening. These 4 students took the PSAT NMSQT, I have to say that very slowly, which stands for National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, in October of their 11th grade year. They received scores in December of that same year, last year, which told them they earned scores in the top 0.5% of all juniors in the state of Arkansas who took the exam. Because of their scores, they each earned the title of a National Merit semifinalist. This month, during their 12th grade year, they and their schools were notified of their National Merit semifinalist standing. So what is next? Next is hopefully to become a National Merit finalist. And there are several requirements that these 4 students must fulfill in order to do that, including an application that they complete, having a consistently high GPA. They will write an essay. They have to be endorsed by a school official. I definitely know we can handle that part. And then they will take the SAT, and they will earn a score that will confirm their PSAT performance. So when and how are they notified if they advance to finalist standing? Finalists are notified in early February by mail at their home addresses, and there are 3 types of scholarships that they could be eligible for associated with the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. So in late April of 2019, corporate-sponsored merit scholarships are announced. In early May, National Merit is announced, and then end of May, early July, college-sponsored merit scholarships are announced. So once they accept a scholarship as the result of the competition, they are then titled a National Merit Scholar. This is an incredibly special recognition, and we are so very proud of these students. And Dr. Rollins, if you would, please come and stand with me so that we may present these students and recognize their parents and present each of them with a plaque. And so students, as I call your name, please come forward to be recognized. And parents and families, we want to recognize you too. So please stand as we call the name of your student. The first student could not be with us this evening. His picture is there for you. Oliver Mammy of DTSOI. He is the son of Andy and Judy Mammy, and he has attended DTSOI since 9th grade. Next, we have Sarah Manos, who you saw earlier. Sarah Manos is a DTSOI student. She is the daughter of Matt and Dawn Manos. If you all can wave or stand. Oh, over here. Yes. Sarah attended Walker Elementary, Helen Tyson Middle School, and Southwest Junior High prior to attending Don Tyson School of Innovation. Next, we have Claire Franco from HAR-BER High School. Claire is the daughter of John and Monica Franco. Yay! Recognize the Francos. And Claire attended Young Elementary, Hellstern Middle School, and Central Junior High prior to HAR-BER High School. Oh, yes, one more. Next, we have Samuel Hahnemann, a HAR-BER High School student. Sam is the son of Conrad and Heather Hahnemann, and they're here too. Oh, and Miss Heather's over here. Sam attended Hunt Elementary, Hellstern Middle School, and Central Junior High prior to attending HAR-BER High School. Please give them another round of applause. And thank you to these students and their families. Thank you, Dr. Rollins. Mr. Schaefer, did you want a picture of all three of them together? Would you? You're good? Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda, October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Let me go ahead and click over here. They call that NCSAM. National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is a collaborative effort between government and industry to raise awareness about the importance of cybersecurity and to ensure that all Americans have the resources they need to be safer and more secure online. In the spirit of NCSAM, we have a very, very special announcement. Each year, the U.S. Air Force Association holds a Cyber Patriot National Youth Cyber Defense Competition. This year, the Arkansas Department of Education offered students the opportunity to write letters seeking team sponsorships for this Cyber Patriot competition. 5 Springdale High School cybersecurity students wrote a letter to ADE explaining why and how the sponsorship would support them in competing in this competition. And I have a little bit of their letter here. They close their letter this way. It is selfish for anyone to say that they rightly deserve this grant, but we guarantee that each one of us would appreciate this grant. This would allow us to dive deeper into the world of cybersecurity. We would be able to go visit Walmart, J.B. Hunt, Tyson Foods, and the University of Central Arkansas for their cyber summer camp. We would also love to have t-shirts so we could proudly wear them and showcase cybersecurity at Springdale High School and in our community. Just recently, the ADE announced that they would award only 9 cybersecurity teams in the state of Arkansas, with each of the 9 receiving $1,000 sponsorships. 5 of the 9 teams in Arkansas were awarded to Springdale High School cybersecurity teams. And you can see the team names on the slide. They are the Alpha Omega team, the Code Red team, Siberian Tigers team, the Night Riot team, and the Technologic team. Yes. In just a moment, I will welcome the 5 students that wrote the letter to the podium, and they will be here to answer any questions that you may have about this competition. Yes, and so they are accompanied tonight by their principal, Mr. Jason Jones, because their instructor, Josefina Perez, could not be here this evening. And so please welcome the following students: Luis Martinez Soltero, Gerardo Mejia, Alice Katie Oliveras, Isaac Silvar, and Brendan Tompkins, and Mr. Jones as well.
Hi, good evening. I'm Alice Katie Olivares, and I helped write the essay to get the grant.
My name is Gerardo Mejia, and I was helped write the grant as well, and I'm from Code Red team.
And tell us what grade you're into.
I am in a senior, 12th grade in Springdale High School.
I'm in 11th grade. I'm in the Siberian Tigers team.
My name is Luis Martinez, and I am in 11th grade, and I'm in Code Red team.
My name is Isaac Silvar. I am in 12th grade, and I am a part of the Code Red team.
I'm Brendan Tompkins. I'm in 11th grade, and I'm part of the Code Red team.
So what got you interested in this? I mean, and for those that are seniors, what do you want to do after you graduate?
So, what interested me more was like the way we would be able to secure like companies, schools, our own laptops, your social media accounts, ways you could protect yourself against like hackers, and pretty much, yeah.
Me, I was kind of thrown into it because my teacher kind of recommended it for me, and so I didn't really have much knowledge about it, and I didn't do really good in the first competition I participated in, but after that, I was like so caught up in the competition that I was determined to, place first in platinum this year, so that's what got me interested.
I've always had an interest in technology, and I realized that as technology gets better year after year, we have to be able to take care of ourselves to protect all of our information, all of our data, and just learn along with how fast the technology is growing every year.
I've always loved computers since I was a child. I would try building PCs and everything. And at first I was interested in programming, but then I decided that was too hard, so cybersecurity was the next thing I wanted to do.
Much easier.
It's very fun, and last year I placed first platinum tier team in Arkansas with Jerry. And I hope to do the same thing this year. And after I graduate, I plan to go to UCA and get at least a bachelor's in cybersecurity.
Will y'all help Randy into his iPad?
Yeah. We got new iPads tonight, and none of us know how to work them, so.
I'll let mine the
So why I'm so interested in cybersecurity is mainly due to the fact that my family has really pushed me to pursue technology. I'd have to dedicate to my mother for pushing me to go in this career path, but I really do like technology and computer science, and cybersecurity and the idea of securing systems for like companies, it really interests me, and I really hope that one day I can work for a large corporate building, for example, Walmart, Tyson, J.B. Hunt, and try to be on one of their cybersecurity teams.
Very good.
Great question. How many people are on each team? There's like 5 teams represented up there. How many are on each team? 6 people on each team? So what do you use the $1,000 for? Is there something specific that you're going to be using it for?
So with the money that we earned, we plan on using the money, for example, buying devices and equipment, just like how everyday workers use them. And another thing that we plan on purchasing is, or we plan on going on field trips to buildings like Walmart, Tyson, J.B. Hunt, etc. And we want to see how they work, how the cybersecurity team works, and how they manage their days.
Good news.
Another thing about the field trips, we take a field trip to UCA. We started last year. It was our first year, and it was for the cybersecurity camp, right? Yeah, forensics. And we acted as agents for the Homeland Security, and we got different scenarios each day, and that was like a lot of fun. Like for me, I feel like I'm just a normal kid, like, and I genuinely like found that fun, like a lot, like so much so that I want to pursue a career in cybersecurity, and yeah.
So do these companies just let you into their cybersecurity offices and let you see what's going on, or is it not classified?
I mean, I guess it's classified.
But they let you in to look at it?
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
Good job, guys. Mom and dads?
Mom and dad's here, and you?
Nope.
They can all drive.
Yeah,
Too old for moms and dads. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, students, and thank you, Mr. Jones. Okay, lastly, I had the pleasure of participating in a panel presentation. It was September 23rd at the Education Innovation Summit. And the theme for the summit this year was Together We Are Lighting a Fire to Transform Learning, which I really resonated with because I feel like that's exactly what we do here in Springdale Public Schools. The title of the presentation that I was a part of was A Creative Partnership for Arts Integration. And the really cool thing, if you don't hear anything else that I say about the panel presentation, is that all of that focus session that you saw tonight exhibited arts integration. And so arts integration is essential to the learning of our students, and the entire state of Arkansas is beginning to take a really in-depth look at innovative education. The panel that I presented on was moderated by Susan Hahnemann, and Susan is the executive director of Forward Arkansas. And then I served on the panel along with Dr. Niall Blunt, and Niall is the head of school programs at Crystal Bridges, and also Dr. Todd Shields, and he's the dean of Fulbright College at the University of Arkansas. And so the three of us spoke with a room full of educators about arts integration as a learning tool, a community planning process of how Springdale Public Schools partners with both the University of Arkansas School of Art and also Crystal Bridges to bring arts integration opportunities not only to students but also to teachers so that they learn tools of how to make that a part of our instructional model. There was also a short demonstration of how an artist might come in and work with a classroom teacher. Most importantly, we discussed the necessity and incredible benefits of our partnership that we have together to promote arts integration instruction in our schools. Arts integration research shows that students have increased attendance, engage in content at deeper levels, have increased academic achievement, and are more likely to achieve awards at school when they can participate in arts integrated learning. And so those are my agenda items for this evening. Thank you for your time. And now Ms. Maribel Childress will present her agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a perfect segue to my introductions because I can't think of two elementary principals in our district who light more of a fire under me to transform my learning than Annette Freeman from George and Shelley Pogue from Tyson Elementary. They are both just these amazing learners that are constantly studying best practice, what's cutting edge, what we can do to innovate. And when I think about innovative school design and what Shelley and Annette are teaching me and teaching our district, it's not just about innovative school design in terms of building a new school, which we are obviously going to use their expertise for, but all of our schools can be transformed to be more innovative, to personalize learning more for students, and to help them be ready for college and career and whatever their lives they'll encounter in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So I'm going to turn it over to Annette and Shelley, and they will share with you some of the things they're doing to help lead the conversation about innovation.
Come on up here, buddy. Okay. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Clicker.
Okay, do the clicker.
Here we go. Okay, innovation, as Maribel Childress talked about, it starts with the beliefs and practices that happen in all of our schools in order for us to transform learning. So we're learning how to implement change by thinking about teaching and learning differently, and that is the base. The actual tools and structures like flexible seating and things like that, that's the top end of the pyramid, but the base of it, the foundation, is all the beliefs and practices. Anything else to add?
I like to think about getting a Fitbit, and that's a tool, but just getting a Fitbit alone is not going to change your practice of being healthy, but your belief in your practice is really what's going to change that.
Okay, so we're going to give you a flyover of some building designs that help, once we understand the belief system of how to change and transform learning, what makes that possible, what designs make that possible. And we've gathered information from New Zealand to Colorado to Michigan to Wisconsin, and Shelley's going to be going to Kentucky soon. So we just kind of threw everything together. Okay, get the first video. Can we get the first video? Can you get the first video for us? If not, we can skip it, but. Okay.
Can you just click it?
Can I get it to click? I don't think I can.
No.
Okay, we'll show you the video at another time. It's just one of our principals that we visited with in New Zealand, and he talked about modern building design and what happens underneath one roof. Okay, there are different types of learning spaces in an innovative school, and they have different purposes. So This is one of the core education. Derek Winmuth is from New Zealand. He was our leader when we went to New Zealand, and he helped us really think differently about learning spaces, and he'll be here in November at both of our schools, and we'll send you the dates. You're welcome to come and meet him. But we would like to get him here for the board meeting. Okay, so at a school, you'll have the watering hole, the mountaintop, the sand pit, the cave, and the campfire. And students move fluidly throughout these learning areas as they're working on design thinking and projects. So at the watering hole, that's where everybody comes together to exchange ideas and cross-pollinate. Think of it as networking, okay? Programming and programming. The mountaintop is where you celebrate your learning and you share it to one and many. You launch, okay? You sing it from the mountaintop, so to speak. So it's an area to project out everything that you're learning to the world. The sand pit is where you just build prototypes, like the kids, like the ones you saw tonight. It's like, think of it as like tinkering labs and things like that. It's messy. It's not easy. It just gets dirty, messy. You just work through your project. The cave is where you withdraw from the noise of a classroom, where you can quietly reflect on your thoughts and plan and design. Okay? It's a place to just step back from everything. It could even be a beanbag next to some bookshelves. Okay? The campfire is where you share stories and you exchange ideas and allow the group to build on each other's ideas to get better and better projects. Okay? So we're going to show you some examples of those. Yeah, I'll click.
So this is an example of the watering hole. This is students at lunch, but this is a time to come together, share ideas, buddy tables. We see this a lot in group work, and it facilitates the 4 C's of communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and I'm sorry, forgot. Yes. But the 4 C's of 21st century learning are important to help steer our students in the direction of being having student agency. And this one is the mountaintop. We have this in our building, in our library. Students love to come up here and perch and talk and share. This is a lot of times when they share presentations or they're getting awards. And they use this, can also use it as an individual work area. The sand pit is another place for tinkering. We have green screens in our building as well, and they build prototypes, which are another way to say, hey, it may fail, but how many prototypes does it take? And they don't call them failures, they call them prototypes. And so the tinkering stations, green rooms, or other collaborative spaces for holding materials as well is important. This is a picture of like a cave area, but not all students can process and think and design in the middle of other students. They need their quiet time so they can think and explore their own thoughts and make plans for their tasks. This is a campfire kind of setting where students come together, exchange ideas, build upon each other's ideas. This is like a group planning to launch their prototype or product to the school, community, or world.
And this can be across grade levels as well, or by interest areas. Here are some designs. The one on the left is from New Zealand, the one on the right is from Colorado. And in New Zealand, you can notice that you can have a big, large area room that covers several age groups. So, and you can close off the rooms to make them smaller. So the room on the right, you notice the furniture is movable. Children will move that furniture to make it fit their purposes as they're working on projects. You'll see the wall back there in the back. It is actually a movable wall on rollers that can open and close to make the space bigger or smaller for collaborative groups. And it has a whiteboard on it too for managing projects or developing design thinking.
One of the things that we have learned throughout our travels is that student-focused spaces are at the heart of the school. And so designing a new school of innovation would be really important to be thinking about these types of spaces.
And spaces for small group learning. You'll notice off in that back part of the room, there's a small little sliding glass door. That's a little hub area where students can learn in small spaces. I think that's it. We just wanted to give you a bird's eye view. Thank you.
So, thank you, Larry, for both, and I think you're standing next to some royalty, I think. Ms. Poe, Principal of the Year, right?
Yes.
Arkansas? And
Yes.
you're going to Washington?
I am.
Tomorrow.
I'm leaving tomorrow to go to
That's the
Washington,
rumor.
D.C. That's really true. You know, and I'm blessed to work at Springdale. I've learned so much, and I'm honored to take this with me to Washington, D.C. and represent Springdale, Arkansas, in front of all of the other states that will be representing. And I've never been to D.C., so this is a bucket list for me.
Travels. You'll love it.
Yes.
We're glad you're going and proud of you for going.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
You're gonna need a bucket for those keys before this deal's over with.
That's
See
my
ya.
cold down
Have
version.
fun.
All right, I've provided you some information this evening. First thing I'd like for you to look at, if you don't mind, it's hot off the presses. It's got some green and some yellow on it. Visited with Dr. Stein today. Dr. Stein is our consultant for our facilities. Dr. Stein provided Dr. Rollins and myself some information regarding the new rules that will be proposed, that are proposed, that'll be coming out for potential amendments, okay? And as we go through these tonight, I'll be brief, but I do plan to discuss with Dr. Rollins, and we will create an opportunity for us to comment on these proposed rules. So there are a few things that I have concerns about, one major thing, but I'll get to that. There are some really good things in the proposed rules as well. These are draft rules out for public review. I believe the deadline is going to be on November the 1st, Dr. Rollins, and we can provide comment through the 24th. I think there's going to be a meeting in Little Rock on the 24th that I may attend. I know Charles will for sure. But for the master plan, it defines projects to include installation of temporary door barricades for intruder emergencies or lockdown. So any time that we have a new master plan and do any kind of construction, then we have to have this portion in our 10-year plan for any facility. Again, it requires districts to enter temporary door barricade projects in the master plan. It requires detailed descriptions of the project and upload the specifications, all those things I don't have any problem with. I think that's a pretty good thing. The narrative must include a statement on our building fund balances and how they'll be used. That's new. And it also must include the listing of all buildings that's been constructed since the previous master plan. No problem with that. Something that's really good that will help us tremendously if we do any construction moving forward is they'll go, and you'll like this, Dr. Rollins, from $175 a square foot up to $200 in participation. So that's a $25 increase per square foot. And as we know, we pay that here in Northwest Arkansas for commercial property and construction. I'm sorry.
That's big money.
Yeah, it's extra. It's good. But it still may be behind what the inflationary costs are. Now, this one I really like, and I know that you all will as well. It adds a safety system to the safe, warm, and dry. As you know, they're separating safe, warm, and dry out from suitability. We've discussed this at length. And just a quick reminder, suitability is for growth, safe, warm, and dry is for districts that are not growing but need to replace facilities, things like that. Totally fine. But it allows for and really creates a requirement to have at least 3 new safety systems out of many. One would be secure entrance vestibules, and we're working to do that. Closed circuit TV or camera systems, which are really good, and we're pushing to do that as a district anyway. Ballistic related glass or film and lock sets, and et cetera, et cetera. So all things that are really good that came out of the governor's proposal with his team across the state to improve safety and security of districts. Now, when you go to the second set where we've highlighted, Dr. Stein, as you know, ran the facilities division for a long time, and he said, to his team, we have one chance at making it right and getting it right. There are layers upon layers upon layers in the facility division to make sure that all the calculations are correct. In fact, there are 4 particular layers that all see all applications. There's an exhaustive process where we submit, they review, they kick it back for comment, we submit again. We should make sure that those are correct. The new rules allow that if the state makes a mistake, even after we've passed a millage or anybody's passed a millage or done some specific work with their numbers, that they can say, oh no, a mistake was made, we'll pull it back and the district should be held not harmless, if that makes sense. That's a problem in my view, and we're going to try to create a written response to that, and I'm sure Dr. Rollins he'll say that in the nicest way possible. But anyway, there are some opportunities here. The others are okay. If a district receives a safe room grant from FEMA or ADM, that's a good thing. That provides an opportunity for a district to partner on that as well. So no real issues. But these are coming. These are new rules. There will be a change for the 21 through 23 projects. Any questions on those? They're hot off the presses. I think you're the first ones to get to see them.
On this one that says narrative must include statement on building fund balance and how building fund balances will be used. I'm assuming they just want an idea of what we're thinking that we're going to use. If we have $20 million in our building fund,
how are you going to use
an
it?
idea of what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. We're not bound by anything there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Because a lot of times when you submit your master plan, you don't really know how you're going to get the money for the projects you'd like to do.
Well, I know there's certain representatives that don't think we should carry any kind of balance, and I'm assuming this is because of those folks.
Could very well be. I know that in my own life, having a little bit of a balance is important because you never know what's going to happen. Right. Districts are the same way. So, and I know we do a good job of carrying a minimal balance, but enough, and that's important to us. Any other questions on the proposed plan? Okay. More coming on that, and I'll keep you apprised as things develop. Right, Dr. Rollins? I provided you some pictures. As you know, I send out some things, if it's okay with you. I didn't print the ones on SOI. There was like 50 pages. I did not think that you would enjoy that after you've already seen it once. But these are pictures that Mr. Ramos and I took on our trip last Friday around the district looking at some things. I would invite any of you to, if you ever want to go on a little trip, run around the district, look at facility projects and things, I'd love to have you. Can't have two of you. You can only have one at a time, right? But this is our new IT facility. We've done this kind of on a shoestring. Mr. Hayes reminds me that anything we do is expensive. But there are three major facilities out there. One is the IT facility. That's where Paul and his team are going to be relocated from. The second facility is the warehouse. It's already up and going, and our team, we did all of that in-house. The third facility will be the laundry that's still operating out of the old warehouse. And so the pictures that you see in there, it's one facility. We're going to be building some wings off of it in order to put our washers and dryers and things like that. So I think it's attractive. Dr. Rollins really likes brick. If you'll notice the very front page, that's not brick. It just looks like brick. It's really pretty cool. So the facility itself is going to be interesting. It's not brick.
It looks like brick.
It's not brick. Yeah, Mr. Ramos.
Is it like a vinyl product or what?
It feels like brick. When you touch it, it's scratchy, but it's a metal product with a media on it. Huh. So it's really pretty cool, and it's pretty inexpensive. But we've done this. We've tried to make sure that it has a good, unique look, but also marries into the look of the Parsons Stadium and all, the Emma. I think it's beautiful.
The facility, the old Archer building, we still have our IT stuff?
We still have it in the old facility.
Right now.
Until
this is done.
Right.
Okay.
A lot has to happen with AT&T, moving pipes. I mean, there's quite a bit, but Mr. Miller is really on top of it. We believe we're going to get to take full possession of the facility at the end of this month or the 1st of November. However, full implementation will likely be at the first of the year. As I said, the warehouse is already going. We're in there, we're good, but we won't have the laundry complete until first of the year. But our partners who we've sold the property to on the old Archer facility, they've been very good to allow us to remain in the facility at no charge. But we do need to vacate at some point. And so our end date needs to be December. We need to be out of there for them. Anyway, if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to take you. And I would invite you to stop and look. If you're ever out that way, just at any time, you're welcome at any facility, and you know that. The third aspect tonight that I have for you, everything in this little bunch is very, very fluid. It changes all the time. Brad and I, along with the athletic director, the coaches and principals, we massage the potentials on this all the time, take it to Dr. Rollins. He has his turn to X out and move and change budget numbers and all. And so everything that I've provided for you here is simply fluid. These are things that are on our 10-year master plan. We've talked about them for about, I think we're on year 2 right now. The first picture is the HAR-BER location. Those yellow squares are potential locations. The farthest on the bottom right is the dance and cheer and wrestling potential location. It's about an 80 by 80 roughly. Attached to the auxiliary gym, we'll be building 2 side walls and a roof. And right now, we're not exactly sure what that might look like, but I know you'll be very proud of them. The other idea that we've come up with, we were thinking about adding this facility, that portion, along with locker rooms next to the field house. But as we began to explore that, the cost of adding on that space just got out of reach. And so the challenge that Dr. Rollins provided me with was, hey, what can you do for this? So our effort is to do something really, really nice, at the same time be functional and cost efficient. I think our public demands that we have good quality facilities, but they don't need to cost an arm and a leg, and I think that's our effort right now. So when you look at that particular view, Springdale High, as you know, we're working on baseball, softball lockers right now. I mean, we're in that phase. So the question I had was, well, what if we did something similar at HAR-BER, put it in a different location, and allowed tennis to be in those locker rooms as well? So HAR-BER's will very likely have tennis, baseball, and softball, and we'll do it up there behind. I know all of you have been up there between the track and the concession stand. Now, that is very fluid. We're just talking about it. Ultimately, it's yours and Dr. Rollins' decision. But again, fluid, fluid, fluid. Right now, we have no confirmation. Isn't that correct, Dr. Rollins?
Yeah, it's a good place to start.
Yes, sir.
Measure the pros and cons.
Yes, sir.
Great work.
The final part, on the last few pages in the back, Dr. Rollins has approved for us to have some additional bleachers. We were able to come in a little bit under budget for the project, and so we'll put additional bleachers on the wings. You know, originally we did the concrete for potential expansion. Mr. Ramos and I were out there at Springdale High, and I think we're going to be able to get all of the bleachers for about $60,000 total for each field, baseball, softball on both campuses. Do you have any questions? I know I went through it quickly, but you all have my number, and you certainly have Dr. Rollins. And if you have any questions, we're always available. Thank you so much. Any questions for me, Dr. Rollins? You okay? I cover everything?
Where's Kelly? I'm wondering what kind of grade you got. Pretty good, I think.
Kelly's a pretty rough grader. Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay. Kendra?
Good evening. I have 2 items on the agenda for your consideration. The first item is an update to the Springdale Public Schools wellness policy. Every school district in the state is required to have both a wellness coordinated school health committee and a wellness policy. We have that and have had that for a number of years. You'll see the policy changes basically just update the goals and tasks of the committee. The last time the policy was updated was in 2009, and one of the things that the ADE, Coordinated School Health Division, is checking and reviewing this year is school district's wellness policies. So our committee recommended the changes that you see in front of you. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I do need your approval for these policy changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the update or revised wellness policy as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the wellness policy revisions as stated. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay, thank you. The second item is the out-of-district transfers for this month. You'll see that the beginning of the year influx that you've seen the last couple of months has died down. This month, there are just 3 students who want to come into the district. 2 of them are from Fayetteville, and 1 is from Huntsville. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'd ask that you approve these students to transfer into the district.
Make a motion to approve the transfers as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Emerson to approve the petitions for out-of-district student transfers. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Rollins, I have 3 items for you this evening. The first item is to update you on the number of students qualifying for free and reduced meals for this year. As you know, there's a big date, and that is October the 1st. For the last 4 years, I think, our district-wide percentage has been between 70 and 71% the last 4 years, which means significant dollars for us in what used to be called NSL, now it's called ESA. This year, our number is 71.2, so we went over just a little bit 71, that's the first time. So to say that this was a team effort is a gross understatement. All hands on deck, principals, teachers, Mr. Donnell played a big role for us, our cafeteria folks, everyone pitched in together to make sure that students that qualified, their families were presented the opportunity to complete an application so that we can continue with that meal service for them. That 71% represents an increase of over last year of about 300 students. So that's good. That'll provide additional resources for us next year with these ESA dollars. So anyway, great.
So here's how in-depth the effort was. So I've had no kids in the school district for 4 years.
Oh, no.
And I even got the robocalls.
Did you?
From the district, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Making sure that if I had kids in the district to sign up for the free and reduced.
Did you fill it out?
I tried to get my office, I tried to get my office to sign up, see if they'd help.
He's joking.
I'm not joking about the phone, I'm not joking about the phone call.
He's not serious. That's gonna be the headline tomorrow, you know.
I do have a question.
That's off the record, by the way.
October 1st. How many students do we have that either didn't sign up or that we find out later or whatever? Is there a significant number, or is it just kind of 1 or 2 kind of come through here and there? Do we know
I will
that?
no, I don't have a very good answer for you, other than I've never heard, well, we had hundreds of applications come in after the deadline.
Okay.
I think we do a really good job of helping families. We will obviously have some that come in
Right,
late.
no, I totally understand that. I just was curious if how many that, I've had it for a long time, and I just didn't fill it out.
No, I don't believe that's the case.
Okay.
I think that's the exception.
So if they apply after the deadline, are they still approved? It
Oh,
just
sure.
doesn't go
Oh,
toward
sure.
the, okay.
Oh, yes. Because situations change for our families. Someone may lose their job or something, and suddenly
It
they
just
are
doesn't
eligible.
count towards
So
the-
it's just,
Right, we'll count our numbers.
and plus new folks coming into our district, moving in.
Okay.
So yes, we enroll students all year long.
Okay.
That's good. It's good work.
The second item that I have for you this evening is a requirement of Act 1120 of the 89th Arkansas General Assembly. Basically, what each school district in the state has to do is we have to provide the board and disclose in a meeting a listing of all employees that had more than a 5% increase between the last 2 fiscal years. So we're comparing 17-18 and 18-19. As you noted, we had over 700 folks that are on this list. What I see overwhelmingly is someone started late in the first year when compared to the second year. Of course, their salary increase was more than 5%, or perhaps they were off part of the year the first year. Again, or another thing that I see a lot, well, I provided you all explanations, but another thing that I see a lot of is if someone was working sporadically, maybe as a timesheet employee, and then they received a contract and then were working a lot more hours the second year. So be happy to, I tried to provide explanations for you guys without getting too wordy. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those. Otherwise, I would ask that the board act on approving this report.
Really, at the end of the day, this is something you do annually, right?
It is.
And it's comparing X.
It's right.
This, and here's why, and here's
Right.
what they were.
Right.
And I think we probably ask you the same questions every year.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution so that we're in compliance with Act 1120.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mr. Ramos, to comply with Act 1120. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the final item that I have for you this evening are the September financials. In looking at them, you can see that our revenue is slightly behind where we were this time last year percentage-wise. I'm not overly concerned about that at this point. The year is still young, so I feel like that'll be fine. On the expenditure side, we're right in line with where we were last year. In fact, we're a little ahead, comparatively speaking. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Make a motion to accept the financials as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Emerson and a second by Mrs. Cook to accept the monthly financials as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much.
There she is.
She's back.
Hi, Corey. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good.
Good. Well, good evening. Glad to see you all tonight. Chris started her new job yesterday, so she won't be with me anymore, but I know she got to come tell y'all goodbye last month. And I have two of my other SEA members with me who wanted to come experience a school board meeting, so glad that they came. SEA partnered with our school district to host our Becoming Trauma-Informed event last Tuesday, and it was so successful and just powerful. We watched the documentary Resilience, which was phenomenal, and then we had a great panel made of administrators, nurses, counselors, teachers, and Senator Greg Letting came to be with us too to discuss trauma. So we're really appreciative of the district for partnering with us for that. 56% of children in Arkansas have experienced at least one ACE, which is an adverse childhood experience or a traumatic experience. And our state has the highest prevalence of ACEs in children. 1 in 10 children nationally has experienced 3 or more ACEs, and that places them in a category of high risk. And in 5 states, Arkansas, Arizona, Montana, New Mexico, and Ohio, as many as 1 in 7 children have experienced 3 or more ACEs. So based on this information, SEA knows, and we all know, that this is a problem that we have to work on so that we can help our students. It was really interesting. After the event, teachers came to me or Chris, and they wanted to talk to us about their children. Or they could say, oh, this happened in my household. That's why my child, acted like this, or this happened to me. And we talked about how we go home and we know what's happened in our lives. We know what's happening in our houses. We know how to help our children. But as educators, our students don't always tell us those things. So it's really important that we work together to have some kind of a system so that we know the indicators and have a toolkit so that we're equipped to help our kids. The next day, Chris did an activity at HAR-BER about connecting with students that I've heard was just phenomenal. And she is going to come back to do the same activity with Southwest Junior High. And she is planning to continue working with the schools that we've partnered with, so we're very glad for that. She purchased the DVD, Resilience, for us to have and keep at the office, so we have a checkout system. If you guys ever want to watch it, or if principals or teachers, if a group of teachers went to get together, they can watch the documentary because it was really eye-opening. So it was a great event, and we were very proud of it. And Dr. Cleveland was there with us. So that's what I have, and I am empowered. I feel empowered to do more for kids now and to help them. So that's what I have.
Thank
Do
you
you have any
very
questions?
much.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
being here.
Mhm.
And we are adjourned. Kelly's gonna stay over half an hour.